If I was reincarnated and come back as any artist, I would be Dolly Parton.
Oh, that's sweet.
I was like, you could be hedonistic and want to be Motley Crue, but who did the best good? Who spread the most love? Who did the most with her time here? Who's got a theme park? I want a theme park. Dolly Parton.
You can be reincarnated as any artist, dead or alive. Who's it going to be?
Joan Jett. Badass.
Very badass.
I wish I was more of a badass.
I love it.
Yeah.
You can be reincarnated as any artist, dead or alive. Who would it be?
That would be like one of my gospel favorites, and that would probably be something like Walter Hawkins is what I put down.
Okay.
Keith Moon for the hell of it.
Okay.
Just for the hell of it.
I went with Sun Ra. That's a weird one, but that dude was on his own plane for 50 plus years. He did whatever he wanted to musically without, he didn't answer anybody except for himself. I like that. I don't love every single record. There's a lot of them that are hard to listen to. There's some that are 10 out of 10 classics. But I do love that the man lived his life the way he wanted to live his life.
I guess Lou Reed, I think he had a really fascinating life and the arc of it. The Velvet Underground, one of the most groundbreaking bands ever. For me personally, as a poet and a retired English professor, I appreciate how Lou got more of literature, and literary concerns and literary aspirations into rock music in a way that didn't make it feel fussy and overtly intellectual. It still rocked. It was still searing, immediate rock and roll, but with more literary heft. I think he made a bunch of brilliant and weird and crazy solo records. I think he really followed his muse at all costs. Kind of a legendary asshole, which could be really funny too. And then, he ends up with Laurie Anderson and part of the established American avant-garde, which he should have and was a part of anyway. But I just think the arc of his career is fascinating, uncompromising, and kind of unprecedented. I can't think of anyone else who really hit all those notes, Could have said Neil Young, who, for a 60s hippie who remains endeared to punk rock and the underground, and that's fascinating. But yeah, I'll go with Lou Reed.
Best 3 lines of a song. I told my wife, she agreed. Keep your electric eye on me, babe. Put your ray gun to my head. Freak out in a mood age daydream. Oh yeah.
Who is that? Where did that come from?
David Bowie, Moon Age Daydream.
That's one I didn't write down because I don't have a good answer for that.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
That was hard for me too. I went with Ripple. Reach out your hand if your cup be empty. If your cup is full, may it be again. It's really 2/2.5 lines, but
And what's the
I
name
kept
of the
coming back.
Dead's- What's the name of their lyricist? Who's the...
Robert Hunter. And that song,
So you went back and forth between...
well, no, I always was on that one, but I tried finding other ones. I went down a rabbit hole with these questions. You know what I mean? But that's just one of my favorite songs of all time. It is one of my favorite songs, so.
I got nothing on that one. I don't know. I think I listen to too many records on a regular basis. A regular week for me, I probably listen to 80 to 100 albums. And I couldn't think of anything that like really. I mean, I can think of all sorts of stuff, but it's just like, oh no, it's So yeah, I don't have an answer on that one.
Best 3 lines in a song.
Ooh, now, songs that again, early Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. Wake up, everybody, no more sleeping in bed. I like that song and all the lyrics into it. I don't know, do you know that song?
I do know that song, yeah.
That would be wake up, everybody.
This could be 4 lines depending on how you break them, but I'm going to go with the silence of a falling star lights up a purple sky. And as I wonder where you are, I'm so lonesome I could cry. Also, Kim Deal's favorite lines from her favorite song, I found out.
Really?
Hank Williams, you can't beat that.
Yeah.
I think, and I just posted this recently and was arguing with a friend about it, not really arguing, but the question was, who's the greater songwriter, Hank Williams or Bob Dylan? Obviously, Bob Dylan amassed a greater catalog because Hank died when he was 29. Merle Haggard, too. You know, I don't think anyone's written more great songs than Merle Haggard, Bob Dylan included. But to me, Bob Dylan got to the mountaintop with all of Western art and literature at his disposal. Eastern literature, too. You know, Bob Dylan is drawing from all of human expression. Hank got to the mountaintop with a grade school education and a palette composed entirely of primary colors. You know, that's a greater achievement to me. Hank was just as great, and, you know, he had the stub of a pencil and a leaf. You know, Dylan was sitting in a grandiose library with, you know, everything you need. And I feel like what Hank accomplished is a more impressive achievement. Even though Dylan's written songs as great as Hank, you know, and lots of people have. But there's some argument, too, that Hank Williams was the first singer-songwriter. I'm not saying no blues or folk musicians ever accessed their own lives in a confessional manner, but what Hank was selling was his miserable life and its travails, like in every song. And he kind of invented that persona. Even though I don't think it was a persona, I think that's who Hank was. But I think that's the first time a star was valorized for having the honesty and bravery to talk about their sordid, self-destructive existence, you know?
Yeah.
And over and over and over. So I'll go with those lines from Hank.
That was one that I've cheated on because I listen to so much music that it's just hard to say.
Can I give you, well, it's weird. Guess Who, American Dream, American Woman. But Counting Crows, August and Everything, weirdly enough, is one of my go-to albums. That, again, is, I think, great from beginning to end.
Is that the one with Mr. Jones?
Yes. And I'm not even a huge Counting Crows fan, but I don't know if it was the time it came out and it hooked me, but that, and I love the Guess Who.
And back to my Funkadelic group, Parliament, Mothership Connection, the one that had Flashlight on it, that album. I could put it out and just remind me of being in high school. I had a fun story with that. In high school one time, bought that record and a snow day, and I just remember staying home and just played that record all day and all night. It's just good. Like, now that's one that like, oh man, I really like that record.
I was curious about that. And I remember the first time I heard Flashlight. I'm like, oh, so this is what it's all about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what the funk thing is about. And I probably have seen, I'm 65, and I probably have seen Parliament Funkadelic at least 20 times. 25. And what's good about it is I actually grew up with guys and good friends with guys that either played in the band. One of my roommates in college was actually, even back then in the late 70s, was one of the financial advisors for Roger and Zap and me and Big Rob, who used to drive the bus from, we call each other cousins. We've known each. So I've always hung out with the whole Cincinnati Parliament Bootsy crew.
Well, I mean, that's another one that there are hundreds of. What do I write down? I wrote down PJ Harvey's Let England Shake. It's kind of an outlier in her catalog. But boy, is that a perfect record about pastoral England in the 1914 to 1920 during World War I and the immediate aftermath. It's put together beautifully. It was the record that won her second Mercury Prize, which no one else has ever done. Yeah, that's one. If I hear the opening notes, I'm just like, let's sit down. This is worth 45 minutes right now.
For many, many years, I called this my favorite record. Exile on Main Street was my favorite record for a long time. Still love it. Funhouse supplanted it at some point by the Stooges. This supplanted Funhouse. I don't think it's better, but just in terms of how much I listened to it and how instructive it was for me for my own songwriting or just the pleasure of listening to it. Tonight's the Night by Neil Young. I don't call any record my favorite anymore because I listen to so much now and my tastes are so all over the place. And so much of my listening is professional rather than recreational, like records I have to listen to price or, I want to hear it before I sell it. So I got to listen to this now. But I've probably listened to this record more than any other record ever over the years, going all the way back to college. My college roommate, Randy Hobson, was the world's biggest Neil Young fan. I remember when he and his girlfriend, Stephanie, broke up, he was super bummed. I was like, Randy, you're a good-looking guy, relatively intelligent, there's plenty of, he was quarterback on the football team. I was like, there's plenty of women who would go out with you. What are you worried about? He's like, yeah, man, but they're not going to be into Neil. His girlfriend was way into Neil too, and he hated missing that. But yeah, this record, Tonight's the Night, I never get tired of it. I think it's a masterpiece. It sounds so good. The emotion on it is so raw and real. I think it's a masterpiece. Neil made so many great records. Neil, like the Stones, just really knows how to make records. Even some are better than others, some aren't so great, but they're always fascinating and interesting. When they suck, they still suck in interesting ways. They're not just hack work, And yeah, I always find his records fun to listen to. I don't know if this one's fun to listen to. There's a lot of agony involved, but yeah, I never tired of this record.
An album you're never tired of, Funkadelic, Let's Take It to the Stage. It's not Maggot Brain, it's not one of the big ones, but it's probably my favorite one. It's the most weird and rock, but it's funky, just experimental, but Funkadelic experimented a lot. Sometimes it didn't work. Every experiment on Let's Take It to the Stage works.
I do kind of,
Yeah.
but and my friend Bob Bradley show I like because we connect. I mean, I'm always talking about music with him, and he'll review records. So I like him, but I also like that Derek Higgins guy. You ever watch him?
I don't know Derek. I knew Bob, yeah, but
yeah, no, Derek. I forgot where he's from. He would kill me too. Well, I've never talked to him, but he's a guy kind of like myself who just picks up and likes all records. He likes everything.
Well, Bob did this challenge on his channel, and that's what inspired me. I'm like, I'm going to do that, but I'm going to go talk to the folks that own the stores here.
Oh yeah, Bob. Yeah, he's a real informative cat. I mean, he likes, he likes all kinds of genres.
Yours.
Good answer.
I thought like Bob, but it's weird because, again, I guess it's a cop-out answer, but everyone has their fresh take on stuff, and so it's hard to play a favorite.
And my favorite vinyl community channel is Amoeba's What's in My Bag. I mean, asking all these artists what they're buying, what they're into, seeing the massive diversity of what these artists that you think are so singular listen to is really eye-opening and should be a lesson to everybody.
Well, and of course, the Bourbon Vinyl Time Machine.
Of course, the Bourbon Vinyl Time Machine.
Share your favorite VC channel.
Yours, because it's the only one I know. So I haven't, done that. I actually I have a Caliphone portable record player on a little table next to my computer desk. So when I'm on the computer, I spend 7 inches. So I don't listen to tons of music online, but I'll dip into it now that I'm a part of it.
All right. The Bourbon Vinyl Time Machine.
Bourbon Vinyl Time Machine. That's my favorite VC channel.
Thank you, Brett. Okay, and share your favorite vinyl community channel.
I don't really have an answer on that.
Well, it's obviously Bourbon Vinyl Time
Well,
Machine.
it is exactly. It is Bourbon. Say it again.
Bourbon Vinyl Time Machine.
It is obviously Bourbon Vinyl Time Machine.
Do you have a favorite vinyl community channel?
I was going to say Bourbon Vinyl Time Machine.
That's the right answer.
Yay!